Hey guys, in this video we're going to learn how to replicate the behavior of the switch statement that we used to use in Java or C if you're familiar with that. If we have a look at the syntax of the switch statement, I'm looking at the Oracle website here, then it's basically an if statement or a replication of a nested if statement where you can have one value and then instead of saying if value 1, else if value 2, else if value 3, having a large nested if statement, then you can have something like this where you deal with each value as a case, and then if none of the cases here is met, then you basically execute what's in this default part here, right? So in Python, unfortunately, there's no syntactical equivalent, and the idea of this video is that we can replicate that. So if you look at this code here, we have a variable called action here equals 3, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 methods, action 1, 2, 3, and then unknown action, as you can see here. If I execute that, and then I have this if-elif, these if-elif statements here. So I say here, if action equals 1, then execute action 1. If it's 2, then execute action 2. If 3, then execute action 3. If it's unknown, then execute unknown action. So if I run that, I remember action now is 3, then we expect it to run 3, right? And if we change the value of action maybe to make it 4, which is now not included in these if statements, which means we expect it to be unknown. So let's run that, update the value of action, and now we get unknown, right? So the switch equivalent here is to use a dictionary. So if you look at this dictionary here, I'll call it my switch, and I say key 1, so this is basically referring to the values of this action variable. If it's 1, I need to call action 1. And if it's 2, then I'd like to call action 2. Notice I don't actually call the method or the function by using the parentheses. I just put its name. If it's 2, then I'd like to execute action 2. If it's 3, then I'd like to execute action 3, and I leave this till later, right? So I create my dictionary with all the values, and then now I use the method get inside the dictionary. Okay, so it gets us the value given the key, so we pass it the action now as our key, and it calls us the relevant method, right? So if we pass it 1, then it calls 1, and notice here I tell it here unknown action, which means if the key value I give you does not exist here, then execute this unknown action, right? And then that's the syntax. So get action comma unknown action, this method here, this function here, and then the empty parentheses. If I do that, so what's the value of action now? It's 4. If I do that, then I expect to have unknown action. Let me update the value of action to be 2. Now we expect it to output action 2, which is what happens when we call this function action 2. I hope the idea makes sense. Nice and easy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.